So for our next chapter, we're going to be talking about functions and relation. For our purposes, we're really going to look at a relation as a set of ordered pairs, just to do an introduction. It also could be an equation, which we will look at those, but just for now. And the first component is called the domain. Those are the x values. And it's mapped to the second component of the ordered pair, which is a range, and those are the y values. So we're going to look at it first as ordered pairs, then we're going to look at some mappings, and then we will move into looking at equations. So first, consider the ordered pairs that we have. The first number in each of these, you can see, are just the first 5 natural numbers. And the y value is double them. So the range is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. A function is a relationship that assigns a single element in the range to each element in the domain. So what that really means is no x values are repeated that are mapped to different y's. So I'm looking at these, relation or function. P is mapped only to M, Q is mapped only to N, and R is mapped only to N. So therefore, this is a function. The second one, again, each item in our domain or each input is mapped to one and only one output, so therefore it's a function. This third one is not, because this Q is mapped to 2 different y values, so the x is repeated. If I were to write these as ordered pairs, it would be QY and QZ. So as soon as I have that repeated, then I know it is not a function. Alright, these are supposed to be different. Let's just put little lines in there. We want to know if each is a function or just a relation. So here, I'm just going to look at the x values because the y's can be repeated. I have a 1, a 4, a 2, and a 7. So because all the x values are different, this is a yes, it's a function. Over here, I have the ordered pair 2, 9, 3, 7, 3, 5, and 4, 3. Well, this has a 3, and then that has a 3. They're mapped to 2 different y values, so this is just a relation. It's not a function. Down here, all I care about again is for each of these inputs that go into one and only one output. They could be going to all the same, that's fine. So because these are all going to only one line attached, this is a function. And number 4, this 3 is being mapped to 2 different things. So it's not a function. This is a relation. But it's not a function. Graphically, so if I have a graph, I can tell whether something is a function or not by using what's called the vertical line test. And that just means if I draw a vertical line absolutely anywhere, and if it hits the graph in more than one point, then it's not a function. If it only hits in one point, no matter what you put, then that is going to be a function. So this first one, if I draw my vertical line here, it hits 2 different dots. So that's a relation, it's not a function. So this first one is not. B, also not a function, because if I draw a vertical line, it hits it 1, 2, 3 different places. So that's not a function. C, no matter where I draw a vertical line, it's only going to hit it in one place. So that is yes, it is a function. D is a vertical line. So it hits in infinitely many places. So that's not a function. E, this piece of the step, when I draw a vertical line, it hits in all that segment. So this is not. And then F, no matter where I draw a vertical line, it only hits it in one place. So yes, that is a function. One of the other things that we're going to be using a lot is interval notation. So I just wanted to take a minute and look at these, and we're going to write them in interval notation. So we use brackets, the hard brackets, if the value is included, and parentheses if it's not. And they can be used in any combination. So this first one, -2 to 6, -2 is not included because it's an open circle. And 6 is included because it's a closed-in circle. The next one, I'd have to have a hard bracket by both -2 and 6. This one, they're both open circles, so I have to have parentheses by both of them. Here, the -2 is filled in, the 6 is not, so I have a hard bracket by -2, a parenthesis by 6. And then here, it doesn't stop. So it goes to -infinity, and anytime we have either negative or positive infinity, it automatically is a parenthesis. So no matter which one it is, we always use a parenthesis for that. And then the 6 wasn't filled in, so I have a parenthesis on that side as well. All right, so we're looking at here at some graphs, and we want to know the domain and range. And also, I just want to know if it's a function. So first, let's take a look at all of them and see which ones are not the function. So 4, if I drew a vertical line, that's not going to be a function. And then down here for number 5, the same thing. If I draw a vertical line, that's not going to be a function. So let's go back and look at domain and range. So I have open circles at the end. The smallest that I see is -4 for the x value, and the biggest x value I see is 2. And they have open circles, so I have to put parentheses by both of them. So this is where the notation is not great because it looks like it's an ordered pair, but it's really not. It's just showing that it doesn't include those endpoint values. Now I want to look at the y. The smallest y value is -4, and the largest y value is 5, but they're not included again because of the parentheses. So I'd have -4, comma 5, and I have to have parentheses by both of them. If you didn't have a open circle or a hard dot, you would just assume that it goes to infinity and -infinity. So we will be looking at some of those too. Here, the smallest x value is -1, but a parenthesis there. And then it just goes, and the biggest one is 1. And I have a hard bracket there because that's actually included. When I look at the y values, the smallest one is 3. And it goes up to 5. And even though that's open there, but it's filled in there, so it actually takes on that value. So we have 3 to 5. Domain here, the smallest x value is -4 with an open circle, so I have a parenthesis. And the largest is +4, and it's closed in circle, so it's a bracket. The range are the y values. The smallest is 0, but it doesn't quite hit it because there's an open circle. So I put a parenthesis, and then it goes all the way up here, and that is 5. And because, again, it's filled in, I put a hard bracket. Now, even though 4 and 5 are not actually functions, we still can talk about the domain and range of the relation. So first I'm going to look at the x. That looks like -4, and it's filled in, so that's included to 0. And then the range, -2, a hard bracket, and then it goes up to 2, but there's that open circle there. Domain here from -5 to 1. And the range, -4 with a parenthesis, and it goes up to 2, and that's a hard bracket. And then the last one, the domain, the x values go from -2 to 2, but parentheses by both of those. And the y values go from 0 to 4. 0, hard bracket, 4, parentheses.